Everyone, I had a few questions on how I created that mystery Jamboard, so I will take you through those steps right now. These are the steps I followed. You don't necessarily have to do these in the exact same order, and you might find some ways that are a little bit easier, but these are the steps that I followed. So the first thing was I had to go to Google Slides, actually. So this is where I created the background for the mystery jam. So what I did first is I inserted a shape. And I did it as a circle in the example I showed. You could do a square. You could even find an image if you want to. If you want to find an image of like a fenced-in, a fence, and they pull things into a fence, a box, a house, whatever you want it to be. So I'll just do a shape for simplicity's sake, and just make sure your shape is white. So that's the first step. The next step now is to change the background color of this slide to black. So we can create that sort of dark aura here. So take note of where you place your shape. So if you decide to put it in the corner where you want students to drag, in the middle, it's because you're going to want your numbers to go around that area of where they're going to be dragging things in. So once you've done that, you're just going to go to File, and you're going to download this slide as a JPEG, because we're going to make this our background. So I'll do that right here. And of course, I should spell background correctly. I'll hit save. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to my Jamboard here and pick a new frame. So the first thing I do is I need to create the numbers. Now, the thing that tripped me up, it took me a while to figure out, is you have to create them as sticky notes, not as a text box. So in the sticky note, just make sure you pick the one that has no, you don't want a color of that sticky note. So just the white or plain background, whatever you want to call it. And let's say I was going to do something about whatever it might be. So just start putting some numbers in. Could be odds and evens, could be multiples of 2, could be numbers greater than 30, whatever you want it to be. Just start. I'm just going to put in a bunch of random numbers here. Numbers divisible by 3. You could do a whole bunch of things. Fractions. Just put a few more here. Okay, so here are my numbers. And again, you can place these, position them around they want. Keep in mind, my square summer's in the middle here. So I'll just kind of do that. Again, you could have way more numbers than this. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. And now I'm going to go in here and set the background. So when I click Set Background, in my jam, right here, I have an option to upload, or insert, I should say, not just upload. And you have multiple ways to put a background. So mine is an upload because I downloaded that photo earlier. Here it is here. Oops, and I hit open. And it'll go in. So now you see it hides all those numbers. Now I need my students to be able to find them. I mean, they could randomly click around and find them, but they don't see what those numbers are. So that's where that little flashlight comes into play. Now I'm just going to copy this one that I had created earlier. You don't have to use a flashlight. You can use, I've seen like a magnifying glass, whatever you want it to be. Really, you just want something that's going to be able to find the numbers. Now, there's a little trick to this as well. Originally, this image here did have a background, so I used a website called remove.bg, which allows me to remove backgrounds. But as you notice, if I'm scanning around this jam, I'm not able to find any numbers. That's because I have to order my images or my sticky notes on this jam. So I'm just going to right click on my flashlight and send this to the back. And now that I do that, when I move it around, I start to see numbers. So if I was doing an activity where students had to put even numbers in the box, they can find the number, drag it over. Go to another one, find it, drag it over. So this is just one example of how I created the mystery box. And really limitless possibilities, but hopefully these steps allow you to create your own.